What happened was I found myself standing behind myself. I was moving out of my body, and I could see all the people there, all the men that were in the room. I could see their life review, like I was looking at 10 different televisions with a different story playing. And it freaked me out. And I kept saying to myself, I have to stay here. I have to stay here. And so then I was gone. Everything went black. Apparently, from my friend Juju, he told me that my body stiffened. I fell on the ground. And he told me that they pounded my chest with all his might like this. He said my breathing stopped and my heart stopped. The next part I remember was that I was shooting through the night sky, seeing the stars and seeing a small, familiar blue planet off in the distance. And all I could feel and think was, I'm going to that point. And so I was just shooting through the night sky like a comet. And it felt, I could see the blue planet getting closer and closer and closer and closer to me. And then I remember thinking, oh my gosh, it's so big. How am I going to find myself? And then it was like a language or a sound I could hear. And I'm like, I don't know that language. I don't know that language. And then it was like a beacon going beep, 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 directing me. And then I remembered, it was Egypt. And then it was like struggling to get into my body. It was every second felt like I was a harsh struggle, like I was trying to put on wet clothes. And then the light was so incredibly bright, it was almost painful. I was blissed out. I was at peace. I was just so calm. And I heard all the shouting, and I just said, where are you taking me? Slowly, they helped me to the bed. I laid there for a couple hours, and I met a guide who said, I will take you on the journey of the all, but you can't stay. I said, okay. So he took me into a hallway with infinite doors, and I walked into one door that was on my right, a gold door. I stepped through the door and emerged into what I call a kaleidoscope, a moving pattern of colors and patterns. And it was like I was immersed into this kaleidoscope of color, like almost felt like I was in my mother's womb. And it was safe and warm and full of love, and there was no worries, and everything was just peace. And I said, where am I? And my guide said to me, this is the fabric of all creation. This is love. And again, I was reminded I can't stay. And so then after sitting there and feeling it and just loving it, not wanting to leave ever, I was like thrown out. And then in the hallway, I said I was invited to go to any door I wanted. And there was a feeling or a sense of knowing, once I go in, there's no coming back. Like you get the knowledge, but you can't change what you already know. So stepping through that door was a pink door, and I immersed into what felt like a solid green, like an emerald. And it was still. There was no movement. And instantly I was shown that this was like a healing, morphing. It was moving through every cell of my body. And then I saw a timeline of my life. It was like a life review that people talk about. But for me, what it showed me was that every point in my life where I had emotional trauma, those emotions were stuck on that timeline, and they were creating the dis-ease, the dysfunction, and the destruction of my dreams, of my career, of my relationships, my health. So I understood in that moment that my emotional component were affecting everything that I create, and that the only that I needed to detox emotional, mental, and spiritual. And I knew in that moment that meditation was key, and that I needed the practice, the tools, a system that would help me eradicate those emotional blocked energies. and that was the secret, that I was a creator.